Remember That's Incredible, a TV show?
Sure.
Fran Tarkenton and
Fran Tarkenton.
Kathy Lee Crosby and
Yeah.
John Davidson. But I remember one episode where they interviewed a gentleman who had collected an assortment of body animal parts, and usually a lot of it was mostly animal fat, so he kept in a jar suspended, and depending on which animal fat was floating higher than the others was an indication of forthcoming weather.
Oh, great.
So
great.
I mean, when electromagnetic pulse hits and we're all out and we can't use our Apple devices to tell us what the weather is, we're going to be certain to render fat. And there Crisco's out to tell what I better bring my umbrella.
Right.
The Crisco's floating to the surface.
That's wonderful.
Wasn't it when, talking about how old our friendship is? I remember stopping by your place early on, and your mom, you poured like basically glasses of milk, and I believe you guys were on the 2% milk front, and my mom was on
skim milk.
Yeah, where it was just basically like we dusted a chalkboard and we clapped the erasers over water. That's basically what you got when you got skim milk.
Pretty much.
There was nothing in it. It had been deprived of everything. Yeah, it was like a holistic version of milk. It's like milk in theory.
You're listening to, and this is why I love comics. Andy and Mike!
And welcome to another episode of And This Is Why I Love Comics. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And we're back. I mean, to you, we might not have ever left, but we took the month of May pretty much off. I'll take the credit for that again. I had so much stuff going on, and I wasn't sick or anything like that, so I felt like, I can't record unless I'm ill or, coughing or something like that. So we're back. This is the podcast for curmudgeon old men talking about comics and friendship and everything else in the world except politics, because we don't talk about politics. We save that for, drinks and
things that are going to... That's exactly why we don't talk about politics. We don't know what to say about it.
Right. Both collected comics since the 80s, and so we think we know enough about it to talk about it. So we do. And sometimes we don't even talk about it. Like, I'm not even sure we're going to talk about comics today. We might just, we're trying to play catch up because we haven't chatted in a while. And lots happened.
Yeah, well, one, we're still alive. So
right.
Some people's wishes haven't quite been fulfilled yet.
Right. Always a positive.
Yeah. We held out for one more month.
I woke up and I was still breathing.
Yeah. Deadman, seems that this is a comic book podcast.
Boston Brand.
Yeah. Was he basically like part of the Grayson Trapeze group that got murdered, or how did Deadman come about? Didn't he like wake up dead?
I mean, he was. That's the podcast episode name, Waking Up Dead. But
title drop.
He was a circus performer. It was similar to the Grayson. I don't think he was related. Although, now that you mention it, I think they were related. He wasn't a Grayson, but I think it was like a cousin or...
Yeah, was the murderer of his character a practice run for the Graysons? We gotta see if this is gonna work before we pull it off.
Dang it! Now I'm gonna have to look that up. And I'm this is off the top of my head, of course. Circus trapeze artist Boston Brand, performed under the name Deadman, a stage persona that includes a red costume and a white corpse makeup when Brand is murdered during a trapeze performance by an assailant known only as the Hook. His spirit is given power by Hindu god Rama Krishna to search for his murderer and obtain justice. Yeah, I'm still looking for the tie-in to the Graysons.
Yeah,
He
it
was
just
cool.
seems a little bit like, the striking similarities of like origin stories. Now, granted, not everybody can have an atomic bomb drop on them and turn into a green rampaging beast, but there is a level of coincidence of like murdered in your occupation, performing, and the trapeze. It wasn't like he was the lion tamer, or he wasn't a circus performer, trapeze artist, murdered while performing. It's like, not a whole lot of new under the sun, as they say.
Let's see. Flashpoint. I saw something about a Grayson. Brand mocks fortune teller Dr. Fate until Fate gives him a vision of Boston standing over a dead Dick Grayson. Before the next show, Boston tries to convince Dick to go solo, as he himself had. However, Dick tells that the family means so much, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't see anything regarding...
No, they're probably wanting to sweep that under the rug. Like, no one recognized that this was a complete knockoff of Robin's origin from years ago.
And that was the Wikipedia page for the Deadman, of course. Thanks, Wikipedia.
Yep. Yeah. Look in the footnotes for all the other things we cite as reference.
First appearance, Strange Adventures 205, written by Arnold Drake, drawn by Carmine Infantino. Included the first known depiction of narcotics in a story that was approved by the Comic Code Authority.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I think there might have been a few before that, but yeah. But Carmine, I didn't realize that Carmine Infantino was incorporated into that somehow.
No, it was October of '67.
A Spider-Man episode that dealt with drugs, they actually dropped the Comic Code Authority on it, didn't they? In order for them to tell that tale.
Yeah. I have a series with the Deadman by Neil Adams, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that was before he kind of, like, I don't know. I've read parts of Batman Odyssey, and I wish I had not. There are some things where it's like, one of my favorite movie actors is Cary Grant, and he had starred in 88 films, and he had done all this like amazing body of work dating way back. And his last film that he had done, while it wasn't a huge success, he walked off of it saying, I'll never do another movie, even though they begged him to come back and do more movies. He's like, I kind of want to leave while I still look the way I look. The same thing is true with a lot of these comic artists, where it's like, sometimes you just kind of want them to go away when they're at the top of their game.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about brackets, but one of the things that came up about the brackets and in looking at some comics over the weekend, Jack the King Kirby was and is a phenomenal artist, but his later stuff, like, he did superpowers, and I don't know if he did that while sneezing. I don't know if he did that while completely asleep, but it was not up to a Kirby level.
Oh, what was wrong with superpowers? Come on.
Yeah, which is sad, because I was like, that's one of the best toy lines that have ever been created for superheroes, was that Superpowers toy line. It was brilliant work. Garcia Lopez art, modeling after his work. The characters were, had action features. It was great toy line, but Kirby did the book version. I think he did 2 volumes of it, and I just can't look at either one.
Looks like he only did the covers for the first one.
Ah, okay.
Because I have 4 of those issues, and he only is noted for the cover, because Adrian Gonzalez did the interior. Yeah, he did the second series fully.
Okay. Yeah. Because I just remember flipping through, because there was a trade that had collected them both, and I was flipping through, and I was like, "Ooh, this looks really bad," and then it got worse, and then it was like, "Okay, but this is clearly Kirby's work here." I just couldn't figure out what happened to the rest.
Right.
It's just like, but even that, what was Kirby's work, still didn't look like this should have been considered Kirby's work.
Right. Well, that was 1986 with superpowers.
Yeah,
85,
you think, he started, Captain America during World War II, and had been doing it in comics forever. And I know that he had already kind of drifted away from comics for a while, even at that point, because he was doing animation stuff. Speaking of Kirby, when he was doing the animation stuff, he did things like, Thunder the Barbarian has a clear, Kirby influence and so forth. But do you remember the Crest animated cartoon commercials with the cavity creeps?
Crest.
I
Yeah,
guess you do.
it's ingrained in my childhood.
I remember that, and then for
We
some
make
reason,
holes in teeth.
yeah, the cavity creeps. I remember that having a very strong, and I haven't watched those commercials. I just remember the catchphrases and the lines and stuff. But I remember that having a strong Kirby impact on the art. And I don't know if he had anything to do with it or they just modeled his work off.
Jack Kirby's last book that he did. Do you know
Uh-huh.
what it is? Do you know what it was?
Covers or actual pages?
Interior.
Ooh. I was going to say like a Captain Victory or something crazy like that.
It's Phantom Force.
Oh, it was in that same vein. Dang it. I knew it was in one of those, like, because they had like, it wasn't quite Kirby verse, but it was something along those lines where
It was
like,
Kirbyverse.
oh, it was? Okay. It was like a
Secret City Saga.
Yeah. Satan
Yeah,
the
Topps.
Six. And
yeah,
I do remember that. Because I got a couple of those thinking like, oh, this would be kind of like, what did he do that was non-Marvel, non-DC, just to kind of, like purely his own, no continuity to concern himself with? What would he have done? And then I was like, oh.
Yeah, so this is your first episode, this is what we do. We just kind of venture off into the conversations, and even though we have a plan of talking, we just kind of whatever comes our way, we'll talk about it, and then we'll get back on track eventually in a different episode, maybe. But this is what we do. Welcome. We've gotten quite a few new listeners and new TikTok folks. Thanks for our support over there. That's finally taken off there, so I'll do some more stuff again there. I said there a lot, but thanks again for all all the support. We appreciate it. We're glad to be back. I'm glad to be back. I'll try and not miss a few. We're going to put out a few episodes as quick as we can to get back on the schedule, as they say in Britain. This is more of a catch-up episode. I bet we won't even get to our main event. So.
We'll dance around it. We'll go, okay, ready? Wait, before we do that. Ready? Oh, wait, before.
It's late.
We're doing them in bite-sized chunks, so it makes it a little easier for people to digest anyway. So
right.
We'll record and then we'll just dice it up.
I had a few things that I brought up in previous episodes that I'd like to actually tell you how it went.
Yeah.
One of those is my Star Wars event for my kids' school. It was on May the 4th. It was where I got voluntold to do it. And so I had about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, to figure out what I was doing. Things seemed to go well. It was received very well. They said it was a lot of fun. And
to your face?
To my face. And to other people, they said it was the best event they've been to. Now, not everybody thought that, I'm sure, but it was positive all around. Did it go according to plan? Heck no. No, not at all. Nothing. None of my games went according to plan. Not one of them went the way I imagined the games would have gone. Part of it was my fault because when I created the games and then my ideas did not transfer over to actual reality. For example, I set up this kind of target where you had these air blaster guns, and there was these ping pong balls, and they were set up in a different way. And the idea was you would use the force, therefore the air blaster, to move certain balls and not knock the other balls over and stuff like that.
You like doing that.
Now, in reality, the air blaster was not even strong enough to knock the ping pong balls off the thing. So
a test run would have been useful.
Right. So that was pretty lame. It didn't stop people from blasting each other with them, which is, was par for the course. There was young 5 children to 8th graders. Most of the 8th graders did not go, understandably, because they're too cool for stuff like that. Another example was my Grogu racing event where I had bought 5 different remotes, Grogus who could, roll down the
stairs
floor.
Or repairs.
Right. And the idea was, first of all, it was a race your Grogu. But I luckily had tested that out prior, and they were all set on the same frequency. So a race would have been one person controlling all 5 Grogus.
The Grogu Rockettes.
Right.
Super synchronized. They're all turning right. They're all turning left.
Oh no, one hit a cone. Yeah, so I immediately changed that to kind of a cool, because it was a mother-son event. I had the idea where the mother or the son would be blindfolded, and the other one would have to go through this course. And then I would put it far enough away, I'd have 2 setups far enough away from each other where the remotes wouldn't deal with each other. And I had this, all written out and posted next to the event. But what ended up, maybe 1 or 2 people tried the blindfolds, and then they just kind of ran Grogu around the whole gym rather than do anything that I had asked about. Some of the problem was the children were left to wander without the parent at times.
That can only lead to good things.
Right. So there were lightsaber battles when there shouldn't have been, because I had these tables set up with just different lightsaber parts. You could build your own lightsaber, but you didn't get to keep them. And you were supposed to put them back when you were done building it. What actually happened was about 90% of the lightsaber parts were put into a lightsabers, and then across the gymnasium there were battles all over going on.
The best laid plans.
Yes. So really, we had face painting that really went over well. We had Kona Ice out in the front, which went over really well. And we watched Star Wars, and I did a little bit of trivia, not as much as I wanted to. And then I could sense people wanted the raffle to go. So we did the raffle, and everybody was super excited about the raffle, which was the highlight of the event. People won big, giant cardboard standees of Star Wars figures and
cool.
bunch of other things. All the Grogus that were raced around, they got the raffle for that. And so all in all, it went over very well. I have to admit, the PTO at my kid's school, they're not as evil as I thought they were, and they're actually really nice people.
You're thinking was it Hot Fuzz, where it's for the greater good,
right? Yeah,
it's cult of all these parent types.
Yeah, they're actually really cool people, and I'm glad I consider them my friends now. So that turned out well.
Nice.
But that was
So,
my Star Wars event. Um, uh, I would have, in my head, it was a complete failure. Everyone else didn't know that none of my plans worked. They all thought it was a fun event, so I'll call it a win.
so this is your way of stating to everybody that you're going to be starting a Star Wars podcast that I'm going to be like, I put on all this effort on this trivia. Somebody's going to use it.
We'll do another Star Wars episode, and I'll use my trivia.
Yeah. Now, when you say Star Wars trivia, like, was it trivia of like C3PO is the name of one robot? What's the name of the other robot? Or was it all the way on the other end of the spectrum of like, there was a person that was in the background of the cantina for a third of a second. He had a horn out of the top of his head. What is that character's backstory and name his uncle?
Right. This person built the models for no. I had to do all kinds of difficulty levels, so most of them were pretty easy. There was a couple that were challenging, and there was always someone in the audience that got it right. So I mean, it was not which actor played, Biggs.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. But I think the only reason I didn't do more trivia, because I would stop the movie and do the trivia, because that was pretty much the only thing that worked. But I didn't do more trivia because a lot of people were talking at the time, and I just couldn't get everybody's attention, so it was kind of pointless, and I don't know.
Unless
There
they
was
got
only
like more tickets for the raffle for getting
right,
them correct, maybe they would have been
yeah,
a little bit more
yeah.
keen, but
Now, would I do it again? No,
no. Yeah.
no, one and done. But I'm glad I did it. Now, I do have to talk about a disappointing part
Uh-oh.
of this, and it was how disappointed I was that the garrison, the local chapter garrison of West Michigan, uh, they weren't able to send anyone to the school to represent, themselves or help me get kids excited about Star Wars. Not one. Now, it was their most busiest day. I understand, but they had almost 2.5 months to get one out of their hundreds of members to make a visit, and they didn't do that. So it was disappointing. I lost my faith in the local garrison.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Right. So that was it was like, really, there was 200 kids there or whatever. You can't tell me you can't get one person in a Mandalorian costume or a stormtrooper or whatever.
You can a stormtrooper because
Right. For an hour even,
Yeah, just to make a quick cameo on their way to whatever venue they were actually going to go to.
Right, yeah.
And I think also, wasn't that the same weekend as Free Comic Book Day?
Yeah. And I did notice, Tardy's Collector's Corner had a plethora of Star Wars garrison members there.
Yeah.
So you can't, that's just, 15 minutes away from where I was. You can't tell me that one person. And even in their, their email back and forth with me, but at the bottom it said, even one costumed person can make all the difference in an event, and it's very rare that we can't send any. And I'm like, well, where's the one person that makes the difference?
Speaking of garrison, knowing that there's a lot of people that dress, I know they even got like the garrison's more about like, or at least the 501st in general is about like dressing up as the Empire, and it's like, okay, I get it. everybody's screen accurate with their stormtrooper uniform or the biker scout or whatever. But have you ever encountered anybody dressing up as like the Art Carney character from the Star Wars special, Christmas special?
No, not
Or
one.
the B. Arthur from the the other bartender that no one saw during the Star Wars Cantina scene?
Right. Or
But
the
she was,
Donnie or Marie from the Donnie and Marie
oh
special.
yeah. Or even Gonzo as Darth Vader from the Muppet Show. Yeah.
Exactly. Not one.
There was an opportunity I had now years ago, but I got to go to Bob Burns' house in Burbank, California. And he has most of the Cantina characters, from the original Star Wars movies, most of the masks from them.
Yeah.
And that Rick Baker had put together. And it was phenomenal to see those up close. I was like, that's it. That's the one. That's this one. And I mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. I got to mess with Poop Mouth. I don't know what the character's real name is, but if you're familiar with the Cantina scene and you see this little like sphere-eyed fuzzy creature that looks like it's dropping a cat deuce out of its mouth, that's Poop Mouth when I was growing up.
He was furry?
Yeah. I'll have to send you an image of Poop Mouth. And there's a picture. I have a photo somewhere of me just like tickling the edges of the descending. He just had it in his basement, just all this stuff behind glass and this other stuff that was out in the open. And it's like, yep, that's from Star Wars. It's like, what? You're kidding me.
Right,
That's the real thing from Star Wars? Yep.
The Star Wars.
Yeah, the good one. So yeah, that was crazy, but that was great. As far as Star Wars day, how did the kids do that attended? I mean, did they all seem like they had a good time? Because you referenced mostly the parents said they enjoyed it. And the kids sounded like they were having a good time with the props and mishandling them.
Yeah, they were having a great time, and even my D&D kids that were there told me later they had a great time. So
Nice.
they were oblivious to anything that went wrong, of course, but yeah, it was great. They were there having a good time. We had snacks and food that my wife mostly arranged or handled.
Brilliant.
And she did a great job doing all that stuff. So I really appreciated that.
Because I remember seeing photos of like Wookiee Cookie and some other.
Yep. Solo Rolos.
So how did they get named that Solo? Was it because you only got one? There's only one piece of candy you got? Huh.
Yeah, you only get one.
You must be Solo. Oh, okay. So your name is Solo Rolo.
You're alone eating chocolate. Solo Rolo.
God, stupidest moment
like
in any Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Now I didn't mind that movie, but that didn't have to be explained. Like I didn't have to know why.
No.
Why couldn't it just been his name? Like that just made sense, didn't it?
So at what point did Luke defy gravity?
Right.
Look at this guy. He's not even touching the ground. He's walking on the sky. He must be a Skywalker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, names are a big problem in all those movies. Why would you keep the Skywalker name?
We gotta hide him
and put him back to his actual family. And think,
he'll never looking at for his actual uncle.
Right. Apparently he did, but
boy.
Yeah, that's more on Anakin than anything else. Like he's just dumb. Then
you are the last of your kind. And then it's like, no, not if you watch the Star Wars cartoons. There's a lot of Jedis floating around there.
Right. What about this person? What about this person?
Yeah.
What about this person? Mace Windu's still alive somewhere, right?
Yep. So, with the last name of Murphy, usually there's luck associated with it. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And in my case, I usually find that it's the bad end of the luck spectrum that swings my way. But my son, on the other hand, has kind of come across some good luck as of late. So on Free Comic Book Day, he had gone to one of the local comic shops in town. They had a section where it was like these blind boxes. So it wasn't even a blind bag, it was a blind box. And you paid, I think it was like $10, and you get, some stuff inside. Some of it, you definitely get $10 worth of comics no matter what. But then in addition, there was a couple that would have a bonus prize, or a couple that had, some other things that be good for either at the store, or you got something above and beyond just a box full of $10 comics, So he paid the $10, bought a box, and he was like, well, this one feels lucky. Opens it up, and inside is a slab, a little note. It says basically like, come to the desk and receive your actual prize. So he brings that paper up to the desk. He's like, hey, I got this paper in this box with the addition to the other stuff that's in here. So what's the prize? And they give him a slabbed Silver Surfer comic.
Okay.
9.6. And it's the John Byrne #1. No, sorry, 9.4 on the graded thing. But it was like, oddly enough, it's got UK pricing on it. So it's not just the US one, it's got the UK. So it's got pence and all that fun stuff. So it's like £1, 50 pence. And it was, so he was like, wow, that was great. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, he came home with that, and it's like, now what do I do? Because that was his first slabbed comic. So I was like, oh, that's pretty amazing.
What's funny is I don't have any slabbed comics. So like your son, yes.
Yeah, nor do I. It was like, yeah. Well, I mean, I was talking to my brother about that very thing too, and it was like, comics were meant to be read, and when you slab it, that's basically like, you've killed the comic. It's in a coffin.
It's sealed, yeah.
Yeah, either you can make it a zombie and bring it back from the dead and bust it out.
Yeah.
I
understand. Yeah. I mean, people who collect like that, but that's not for me.
Yeah, a coworker of mine, he bought a couple of comics that were slabbed, fully intending on cracking them out of the slab. But what that did was it made certain that he bought these things sight unseen, and he knew exactly what he was going to get. It wasn't like, somebody claiming like, this comic's in mint condition, and then it's like, it's missing like 4 pages on the inside and the cover's hanging off, but and it's like, oh yeah, that's not mint condition, and so he bought the slab issues and then cracked them open and got the comic out of there so that he could read it, put it among his other stuff, but he at least knew, having that third party review it.
I can hear Jamie say, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
J Hood,
slab and slab. You've spent a ton of money just getting that slab version.
Right. Why would you do that?
So then my son brings his friend over to that same comic shop and says like, hey, I got this slab comic earlier. Do you think I should get another one and press my luck? And his friends are going, well, yeah. And so my son says, okay, well, this time, why don't you pick the box and I'll buy whatever box you pick. And sure enough, he gets that box, pays the $10, opens it up, and it comes with like a $50 gift card to the comic shop.
Wow.
So it's like, then I'm like, dude, don't go back the third time. There's not going to be a charm. You're going to wind up with some other stuff in there, but you're not going to get another. So he's still on the fence. It's like, I'm 2 for 2, and it's like, do I go back one more time? Do I not? So he's struggling with like the not morality of it, but just the whole like
luck factor.
Yeah. Do I press it one more time, or do I, I'm all in and I'm buying another box,
Yeah.
So
I mean, I know what I would do. I would keep getting it until I got totally screwed out of everything.
Yeah. I'm going to turn in this $50 gift certificate and buy 5 more boxes and see what happens.
All right. You got the complete series of Aztec.
Yeah. And then, the 1970s elongated man run.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is exciting. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, here's some 1960s Angel and the Ape.
Yeah. I probably would like that one.
Yeah, same here. Truth be told, I probably would want them. Yeah, because they're non-traditional. Like Aztec man. Was that was what was the name of the character that Morrison came up with for Justice League?
Yeah, it was Aztec.
Was that Aztec? Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was
it was
wondering.
actually a good series. I used that as an example because I didn't want to use Dawson's Creek again.
Yeah, the timeliness.
But it was pretty good. Grant Morrison, of course, who I apparently really like all his stuff, so it was good. I had the whole series, and it didn't end as well as it started. Of course, it was only was it only 11 issues, 9 issues, something like that?
Oh, was it meant to be a limited series, or was it supposed to be ongoing?
No, it was supposed to be ongoing.
Yeah, it's tough. I kind of fear for anybody who's trying to release a book with a new character, because it's like, man, the only thing that's keeping DC Comics afloat is 19 different Batman titles, 10 different Robin titles,
legacy characters.
Yeah, and it's just like, and I know like that Radiant Black was that that kind of hit some like people in the like, ooh, new character and a new approach, and this is great. So there was some like hype over that for a while, because like Invincible seems to be like kind of the last talked about new character, and had more to do now recently with the cartoon than it did when it was running.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a future superhero that'll, break the odds, but even when Firestorm first came out, it was like so many people just did not want a new character, didn't want a new, his first series was 4 issues, and then they came back a year later, or 2 years later with the other one, and that was more successful. But
yeah, that was a Kirby design too, wasn't it?
Firestorm?
Yeah.
You're going to make me look that up too.
Yeah. Not off the top of your head? You don't have that down?
Of course I know it at the top of my head.
I'm referencing my brain's Google. The costume kind of looks like a Ditko, but...
Created by Jerry Conway.
Oh.
And Al Milgrom.
Okay, well, that answers that. Al Milgrom, really?
Yeah, he created it, or he was the artist on it.
Well, there we go. Yeah, for some reason,
it's 5 issues, the first series.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why. For some reason, I think just because I'm thinking that first cover had a very Kirby-esque feel, but it was Milgram's art. So
yeah,
I think it was just because initially I remembered seeing it when it came out back in the day, and the squared off fingers were always associated with Kirby in my head.
Yeah.
And I forgot that Milgram was doing that at the time. So it was like Herb Trimpe and all these others.
I think I fell in love with Firestorm when he got added to the roster of Justice League. And then he was in some backup stories of The Flash.
Oh, okay.
And of course, the art was by George Perez.
Yes.
And Jim Starlin.
It's working out.
Yeah. And so then in 1982, he got his own series again. So.
Was that the Ostrander and Mandrake?
Eventually, it was Ostrander and Mandrake. They took over, or at least in my mind, they took over like the late, let's see, lasted 100 issues. They probably, like, from 80 to 100, it was Ostrander and Mandrake, where he was this elemental type character. And those are actually really good. People don't remember that, but I certainly do. And now, people just accept him as he is, but I just remember a lot of, I don't really like new characters, and why is his hair on fire, and it's just Oh, I'm looking at the Wikipedia. Thank you very much. It does say Jack Kirby's 1971 design for light race costume influenced the look of artist Al Milgrom creation of Firestorm in 78. He said the face mask, Milgrom admitted the face mask on Firestorm that it goes around the chin was probably inspired by Light Ray. Correct in some
very
fashion.
thin regard, but yeah.
So your son, does he have a chance to get this for the next year? Like he can go back and get that box, or?
Yeah, well, he turned it in. He's already got like the gift card, and I think he's already burned through it. He's like, "Hey, I got $50 to burn. I'm gonna, and with today's comic book prices, it's
he got one issue.
Yeah, one current newsstand cover price issue.
Yeah, it was, accidentally got a variant, and it was $50.
And that, I know there's people who love the variants, and no fault. Obviously, it's got to be successful. People have to like them because otherwise they would have stopped doing them. If people didn't like the covers, they would, stop buying the covers. But man, it is an amazing amount of covers. I remember grabbing a stack. I was in a comic shop and I was like, "Oh, hey, look at all these Thundercat issues. I'll grab this one." And I'm flipping, I'm grabbing them all out. It's like, I'm just looking visually at the cover. And there was like 7 covers for issue number 4. And I was like, "Oh, I thought these were 7 different issues." I didn't look until I looked over in the corner, and yep, there it is, number 4, number 4, number 4, number 4. And it's like, holy crap, forget this, And I'm not that much of a completist. I'll just pick the cover that I like the best, but it was still like, who's buying all 7 of these things?
Yeah.
Somebody
is.
Yeah. And it's like, are they really tricking that? And it'd be different if it was like, yeah, these things were back to like $1 comics. And it's like, maybe I could see buying a couple of the covers, but when it's like $5 an issue and you're popping down in 7, that's $35 for just one story from Dynamite Comics.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, I think I'm good. So I love Thundercats, those 1980s cartoon properties. Huge fan of them, but
apparently because you voted for Toth.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't help it, man. That's
we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, that and then some. Speaking of Toth, I was going to ask you this question. And I know we're definitely not going to hit it on the main stuff that we were going to hit, but
nope, that's fine too.
So, San Diego Comic-Con has the Eisner Awards, like their Academy Awards. And then there's other awards from a variety of different, like there's, like I said, the Eisner Awards, there's the Ditko Award, there's the Kirby Award, there's there's all these different awards out there. At what point would, because like there's even like a Bill Finger Award. So it's like for writing, do you just slap a name on any award and you can call it? So like, let's say if you and I created and that's why I love Comic Con.
Yep.
Could we just say this is the Perez Award?
Probably. I'm sure there might be some. You got to get permission from the state or something. But I'd probably do more of like a Chris Sprouse Award, or something.
Do they have to be dead? Because like the Harvey Awards, it seems like most of the awards that are handed out are based on people who've long since passed.
Is there a Frazetta Award? I don't know.
Yeah, and it just seems like, man, why don't we just come up with one, create something? And
the Mobius Award.
Yeah, and then we have our own award that we hand out to people, and as if it's a big to-do. And it's like, you do know it's just 2 guys talking on a podcast.
I have a feeling we'd probably get in trouble for using some artists, his name.
Well, let's find somebody like, I don't know, is Fred Hembeck around? Let's call him
Yes.
the Hembecks.
Yes. We call him the Hembeck. He probably would like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Argones Award.
Yeah. Or you go all the way back to the Bill Everett, where it's like, oh yeah, the Golden
Bob
Age.
Kane Award.
Yeah, just find somebody not terribly obscure, but definitely not somebody who's going to be able to come after us. It's like, how dare you use my name? And it's like, oh, it's not that Bill Everett. It's actually a guy I knew in high school named Bill Everett and another guy named Everett. So we just combined them. Coincidentally, they happen to be a comic creator. Yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of curious. Is like, how did those awards come about? And then what kind of legitimacy, since there's so many, like at least with movies, like there's the Golden Globes, which is kind of like a People's Choice-ish kind of a thing. And then you have the Academy Awards, and it's like the Academy Awards are the top tier. Where does a Kirby outweigh an Eisner? Does a Harvey outweigh either of those? And it's like, this comic won 4 Eisners, 2 Harveys, and 1 Kirby. How did these awards come about? And maybe it's just because I didn't get one. That's why I'm
right. Well, we'll give you one. We'll come up with one.
Come up with one. And for the
we won the podcast award for 3 years in a row.
Yep, and presenting this year's Yammer award, it goes to because it is getting close if not already. Because we used to be in full like Comic-Con mode, getting ourselves set to go out to that show and building all the stuff and like getting materials and shipping and all that fun stuff. And it was a big to do to get out there, and I never even saw one awards program there. And then in the toy industry, there's the National Toy Hall of Fame, but then there's also the Shy Tag, which is like the Chicago Toy and Game event, and they have like a Toy Hall of Fame inductee award, and you get the Shy Tag award, and it's like, so every industry's got throw out ours, and then we send an email to those creators saying like, you won our award.
Well, that's what we'll have to do with the brackets.
Yep,
the B.A.B.E. Brackets.
Yeah.
Whoever wins, we'll send them some award, and
if they're still with us.
But let's talk about the brackets for a second. When I started this idea of brackets back in, we talked about it for a while, and then we started it in November or December, so one of those two. I didn't know it would go on this long. Again, some of that's my fault. Some of it's not my fault.
Yeah.
But,
mathematically speaking, when you start with 120 people to choose from, it's going to take a bit.
It's going to take a while. And those first few rounds did take a while. These last ones are pretty easy, I think. But we're down to we're 5th round, 6th round, something like that. I was posting on TikTok, but it really wasn't worth my time because we didn't have a lot of people looking at it. Now I need to get back to it, but so in the last episode we were in round 2 that we recorded about it, and we've gone quite a ways now. We've already done the wild card, which was in round 5. With people who had lost, but we felt was worthy to try again. And really, I think there were some shocks in the 2nd and 3rd round about people like, why are they still in here? But I think it's worked out now. Like, we're down to the last 8 artists. We're getting votes in on that. And I'm pretty happy with what has surfaced as artists. Like, there's no, like, every name on here, and yes, George Perez is back in the race, but every name on here I think is worthy to have been in the top 8. Like I there's not a name in here that I don't think shouldn't be in there. There was earlier, but I think they've all kind of sorted themselves out. Now there's a couple names I miss.
Oh yeah.
Darwin Cook should be in here, but you're down to the top 8. He fell in the last round, and he was your save, right?
Yes. Yep. I brought him back from the cusp only to see him fall quickly once more.
Yes. Remita Senior, Matt 10.0 saved. Nick saved Sam Keith. I'm still not sure why, but he likes him. That's okay.
Yep.
Kevin, new comic reader Kevin. I can't call him that anymore, really. He's been collecting for a little while now. We haven't had him back on the show. I'm sorry. He saved Jack Kirby. Like that Jack's his dude, he said.
Yeah.
And he likes everything about him. So he tried to save him. It just, we had 112 artists. We're down to 8. And I mean, there's some great artists that are not here, but let's read the top 8 here. John Byrne. Who's surprised that John Byrne's in here? Nobody. Frank Frazetta. Now, if I had my way, he wouldn't be in this round.
Or uncontested like Perez was.
Right. Joe Kubert, should be considered. Alex Ross. I mean, come on. Neil Adams. Sure, he should be. Adam Hughes. Now, I'm not. I'm surprised he's still in it, but he gets a lot of votes from everybody else, so I must be missing out on that. Toth, of course, and Perez as the wild card back in it. I don't think he's gonna pull off another win again, though. But it is funny. There's been 5 people out of the 9 have voted already for these 8, and right away, I got to tell you, John Byrne, Alex Ross, all 5 votes.
Yeah.
So they're already in. The other 2 battles are still, pretty close. So I can't give it to them, but yeah, John Byrne, all 5 of us. Joe Kubert's out, Frazetta's out. Made it as far as I think they should have. I don't know. Joe Kubert could have gone a little farther, maybe.
Yeah, he's still got. I mean, they named a school of comic book art. Like, where do people get trained to do comic art? Is named. He started it. So, but at the same point, I mean, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way was by John Buscema, and I don't think he made it very far at all.
No, 2nd, 3rd round, maybe.
Yeah.
I think Neil Adams will take against Adam Hughes, but with Toth and Perez, I think Toth's going to take it. But we'll see.
Especially when you think about like the sheer volume of work
from Perez. Yeah, I know. He should win.
Yeah, both in and outside of the comic industry, but that has had direct impact on the comic industry.
Well, that's what I mean. I confronted you about not voting for Perez.
Yeah,
but because I knew you'd take it not personally. And you said, because of all the stuff he did outside of comics.
Yeah. I mean, outside of comics, but there still was very much a tangential, Space Ghost, Johnny Quest, the Super Friends, the Fantastic Four cartoon from Hanna-Barbera. So, I mean, they were still very much comic book, but it was also, he did the Fox. And whenever you see a comic that's got a Toth story in it, the dollar chunk, like Hot Wheels that he had done, good luck finding those without a price tag going along with it.
No, I bet.
It's like anything that dude touched was gold.
For as much as you say that and how much I know of his work with the things you said, his name wasn't even on my radar as a kid. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I just didn't know it. I knew obviously of his creations more than I did of him. It wasn't until I met you and you exclaimed your love for them.
In college, having his son as one of my professors also kind of swayed it a little bit, but he explained it in an amazing way. And especially then I read another article in like a Tomorrow's Publications. It was like a comic book artist or something like that. And they talked about like Bruce Timm and his conversation with the two Alexes, and Bruce Timm talking to Alex Ross and then Alex Toth, and just kind of the differences between the two. Alex Toth was a master of like, I can draw anything in 4 lines or less and it'll look like what I'm drawing, like what it'll look like what I'm intending it to be. And it's just like he knew what to include, what not to include, shadows, lights, everything. Just beautiful, beautiful work. And he heightened the art form, whereas others heightened their portfolio of like, they might have been more well known, but Toth designed the way everybody else from that point on was going to view these characters and how to draw these characters and so forth. And it was just like, yeah, you look up Alex Toth's Fantastic Four, and it's like, even today, now that cartoon was, I think, done in this, obviously in the 60s. I would watch that cartoon today if it truly captured the Toth look.
I just want, if he's going to defeat Perez again, I think we should review him for the podcast.
Yeah, some Bravo for Adventure could be easily obtained, I think.
Is there anyone on this list of the final 8 that you're surprised?
Stuart Immonen.
Well, he was in the previous.
Oh, did he did get nixed, didn't he?
Yeah, Frazetta,
yeah. See, I love Frazetta's early comic work, and he quickly got out of comics.
Yeah, I don't even think he should be in here anymore, but he is.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is like
Byrne kicked his butt, though.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of Conan, I still think of Frazetta's Conan more than I think of Buscema's Conan.
Okay, I don't, but
and when I think of like some of the other, like John Carter of Mars, I probably think more of Frazetta's than like Gil Kane's even. But yeah, Frazetta is a little bit of a like, that's probably on the outer edge of like, but he's such a classic, realistic, in some capacities, but classic fantasy art. I mean, I know a certain producer is not a fan of Mignola, but you look at early Mignola stuff and it clearly is influenced by Frazetta.
Yeah, clearly.
A lot of his like Corum stuff he had done is like, crap, that's like a line drawing based off of Frazetta feel. Brilliant work and influential. And I think a lot of it, especially in my voting or how I was kind of coming to the vote, was not necessarily the full body of work, but some of it was like how influential the individual was. Like or not like Alex Ross, there is clearly like his influence on like, he brought comic art as if it were, fully beautifully painted. So his storytelling's for crap, but his art to get there, each panel is like, that's phenomenal. But unfortunately, it's like some of them, you can't figure out what the heck is going on because it's like everything's painted in such detail that you're like, where's the focal point? Put some of the stuff in, is depth of perception kind of a feel.
Is that what it is? Is that I sense Alex Ross is a love it or hate him kind of artist, and I mean, I've always liked him. I loved his stuff. Does it get irritating once in a while that he paints so perfectly? And sure, yeah, it does. But is it storytelling that is the problem with him?
Yeah, because going back to the Kingdom Come, and I know we've already talked about it
We love
extensively.
it. Yes.
Love the Kingdom Comes.
Yeah, go listen to that episode if you don't sense the sarcasm.
But I mean, there's some of the scenes where, let's say, like they're in one of the planet Krypton, and there's so many Easter eggs that I'm captivated more by the Easter eggs that I'm looking around this painting he has done, that I've neglected the story, and the pacing of the story has been thrown off. And there's not the like, I'm bringing these three characters that are in the foreground. Yes, they're in the foreground, but everything's treated as if it were in the foreground. There's no fog to kind of help bring the clarity of like, where is my eye supposed to rest, on this panel? And then when a panel leads to the next panel, and I'm going back to like the classic Marvel style of like, you read left to right, you want to follow the action left to right, and then you kind of that Z pattern on your page, and you keep zigzagging back and forth around there's a couple of panels where it's like his panel layouts were so disjointed, especially during his Justice run he had done. These things were all at this weird angle, like a somebody fanning out panels, like like you fan out cards, and they were like narrow at the bottom and wide as they went up towards the top. And I'm like, well, where am I supposed to read? Am I supposed to look? Oh wait, the action's way at the bottom on this panel, then it's way over here. That's what I'm supposed to focus on, way over here.
It's high in the middle and round on both ends.
Oh, hi. Oh. Thanks, Barney Rubble. Crap. A classic Flintstones joke that I'll never forget.
I'm not sure where I pulled that from.
Yeah, but I mean, like, is if you were to take them individually, like his posters he was doing for like, here's the hero just standing there. Those are classic. Those are iconic. Obviously he takes his liberties with his characters, like, Shazam's got a sash instead of a belt. It's like, okay, whatever. Those are great and amazingly well illustrated. But when you're trying to tell a story, you kind of want to keep that flow, the movement of the action and so forth. And when you get stopped and you're like, oh, look in the background, you can see, and this, like, again, going back to that planet Krypton, it's like, look in the background, you can see that, like, the Wonder Twins, or not Wonder Twins, like, Wendy and Wonder Marvin were like the wait staff. And it's like, oh, that's a clever little nod. Oh, look over here. They have the different types of kryptonite in glass. And then they have over here. And you're like, you're so busy doing that you forgot, oh yeah, there's supposed to be this like pivotal moment of these characters engaging in this conversation in the foreground, that you just kind of went like, oh, I'm doing a Where's Waldo.
I see that point where it's like, he's super creative.
Yes.
He's amazing at putting all these little Easter eggs in, but it does, at some point, you go, well, okay, what was I reading, and why don't I remember this? I got to go back now, and yeah, distraction of the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Okay,
I remember seeing on the back of a pair of Levi's jeans, and it was like, they had a tagline. It's like, not a stitch wasted. It was like, there wasn't too many stitches on here. It wasn't like overly sewn, but it wasn't under sewn either. And that's what it kind of feels like when you're looking at an Alex Ross book, is that there's so much detail that is just overwhelming you with the detail, that you're just like, I kind of lost where I was supposed to be going with this. And as a result, there's so much detail that the detail's wasted. You lose some of the impact because you got so much going on, and everything's fully rendered. There's no atmospheric perspective, and that was the term I was trying to think through. Is like, there's some scenes where it's like you're looking down this long city block, and every building is rendered in full detail. Fantastic detail, beautiful draftsmanship, but there isn't that sense of like, let some of the buildings fade Let them just kind of become a little bit out of focus so that the stuff in the foreground feels more closer to you. You know, it's like you don't see, if you're in a town or even driving down the highway, you're not seeing every car in full detail with all their emblems and all the little tick marks on the side, the air intakes on the side of the car, the wheel wells and the spokes on the rims. You don't see that on every car half a mile down the road. Those you just kind of become more of a blobby shape because it's just you can't focus on it. And everything's got such super detail. And that's where it's like the Darwin Cooks, Alex Toth, they all capture that. Here's how you tell a good story, and it doesn't have to be extremely rendered.
Well, here's an interesting little tidbit here.
Mhm.
So because Byrne clearly won already, and Alex Ross clearly won already,
Mhm.
the way the brackets are, next round it's going to be Byrne versus Ross.
Uh-oh.
So that will be fun.
Yeah.
To hear.
That one would, and I don't know if you experienced it, but going back through the brackets, those first waves were actually more difficult than the latter
Yeah,
wave.
way more difficult, yeah.
Because you're making
I personally think Byrne's going to take it, but just from reading everybody's comments and stuff, I think Byrne's going to take it all. But we'll see how it goes. It'd be neat if it was a Byrne versus Perez, but I have a feeling I'd be disappointed at the end there.
I think they all at some point had done Superman in some capacity, and it'd be interesting to see them all side by side because like the giant size or the Treasury edition of the Super Friends had the notorious Alex Toth cover where I think either Murphy Anderson or somebody else came in and redrew Superman's face.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? All these other guys look like Toth. And then all of a sudden, poof, what the heck happened here? Really bad Photoshop job, but it was intentional. They just didn't like how he did Superman's smile or whatever. And it's like, ugh.
Oh, so I do own a Toth then.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good one because I've got it, a copy of that I just picked up recently just because it was inexpensive and it had a whole section in the back about how animation is done.
I think I actually have it like within 10 feet of me. I think it's in the box.
Coincidentally.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Adam Hughes, I mean, on the list. I'd rather see Art Adams in there than him, but you know.
Yeah, because when you think about, I mean, Adam Hughes, his cover work is what is, I think, the testament to why he's still in there. Because it's like his art, I will say, has always and continues to evolve. He's probably one of the few comic artists that has not stopped with the continuous improvement.
Huh. I don't know if I've seen anything lately of him. Adam Hughes art. Let me see here.
Yeah, his everything looks painted. I don't think there's like much in the way of line art because it was kind of.
Wow.
Yeah. So obviously you have seen this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
okay. Wow. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, he's beyond exceptional. I just, and he, I think, was doing a Betty and Veronica book. He was one of the few, and I know Alex Ross is, he's done the same, done likewise, of like Superman's wearing cloth over his physique. So it will conform to some areas, but it's going to be smooth in other areas because that material isn't going to suck in. It's just going to hit those peaks and then connect the peaks, like the abs area. It's not going to like suck into a belly button, but a lot of people, myself included, draw the entire musculature underneath. And Alex Ross was great at doing like, he's wearing cloth and that just kind of smooths out all those defined muscles. And you look at Adam Hughes and he's even gone as far, if not further, of just like, but they still look like that's Superman and he's a muscular gentleman. There was a moment where I was looking at like the Dotsons, the Terry Dotson, and it's like, man, he's catching up to Adam Hughes. And then you look over at Adam Hughes, is like, Terry Dotson, you got a ways to go yet.
Right. Yeah. Not there yet.
Yeah. I mean, just and I know I referenced this on a previous podcast when referencing Adam Hughes, but it was like we were at that Detroit convention and Adam Hughes was there, and this is back when he was doing those sketches on the backer boards.
I have one.
And just kicked out a Thor for my brother. And it was like, here you go. And it was just a Sharpie, fat, like a Marks-a-Lot Sharpie. And just went foot. And I think he's, within like a minute had an amazing version of his, of Thor. It hurts to see somebody that good. It makes it look like, oh yeah, drawing is simple. It's just too good though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he knows what he's doing. He does an amazing job.
Yeah, I take back everything I said about him not being in this list.
Yeah.
He's my new vote to win,
The his sequential stuff, like I said, he's kind of veered away. I think he's just making a living out of doing covers.
Yeah, like Steve Rude.
Yeah. Although, didn't Steve Rude do like a Kickstarter to get Nexus back up and running?
Yeah, I think that's out. At least the first issue's out already. Want to pick it up, but I haven't.
I keep going back and forth on Nexus. I see them in a bin, of the lower price point, but then I'm like going, that ran for a while. That ran for a long while.
Yeah. He didn't do all of the art.
No, he didn't. That was the other thing that was like, do I even want to try to get these other, to collect this run?
I read most of producer Tony's run on that. It was okay. The first, the Rude stuff is, of course, the best.
Yep.
Some of the story kind of meandered a little bit, Mr. Barron, but other than that, yep. I'm surprised there's not, cartoons or anything. If Invincible can make it, certainly Nexus could.
Yeah. I don't know if it would capture. Invincible, it falls prey to the similar feel that Game of Thrones, whereas just like the shock. Yeah. It's like, holy crap, that guy got killed, or holy crap, this just happened to this person, or holy crap, that so that way every episode ends on that pure shock value of like, whoa, can you believe it? Whereas I don't think Nexus, while it had more of the high fluting feel to it, let's say, highbrow approach, I just don't think it carried the same kind of like, oh, I gotta watch the next episode to see what are they gonna do next, or how are they gonna get out of this jam. And I was like, It was never really that way.
If you like Nexus, if you agree on our brackets, if you want to talk about something that we haven't, if you want us to do more Marvel Multiverse, which we do plan on doing, we just please let us know. You can contact us. Our webpage is and this is why I love comics podcast.buzzsprout.com. You can email us at and this is why I love comics@gmail.com. You can join us on the X or the Twitter at and this is why L1. We're on Facebook. It's and this is why I love comics podcast. Look us up there. The new schedule is out, and we're going to try to keep to it. Mike doesn't even know what the schedule is, so I like to keep it a secret from him. Join us on the TikTok. We're at we're at Why I Love Comics podcast. I think we're up to like 140 followers. Please join us there. I'm going to put some stuff out this weekend so you can support the show. Become a Patreon member. There's some great audio on there. Half face and some funny stuff, and we have more plans on it. We need you there first before we can do it. Thanks to all our supporters and friends of the show. We couldn't do it without you. You could check out Jamie's YouTube show. Thanks to producer Tony, co-host Matt 2.0, Kevin, Jamie, Matt 10.0, Katie, and Nick. for being judges. Thanks to Thunder Chicken for the tunes. They do some great stuff. Check them out on Spotify. The link and all the other links are in the show notes. We're almost on our 3rd year, or are we just finishing our 3rd year? Finishing 3rd year. I don't know. July is our anniversary. I don't know what 3 years anniversary is, because that's not paper.
Yeah. It's
pencil.
Baxter paper. That's what it is.
Right.
For those that remember that.
Yeah. And Baxter run. Next episode, I think we're going to talk about, the next regular episode we'll talk about our new Teen Titans read through. I think we'll do 1 through 6, I think. Or 5, whenever the storyline with Trigon or Trigon, we can talk about how to pronounce that. So that'll be the next full episode. We're also going to try to do some Marvel role-playing. We were going to do that tonight, but we just got to chatting. Nope. And so we'll do that next time. I'm hoping to get these episodes out pretty quick, so you guys don't lose any more sleep without hearing our voices. So for the podcast, I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And we'll chat with you soon.
TTFN.
Don't go decide. Wait. Don't go decide. Wait. Don't go decide. Just wait. Don't go decide. Wait. Don't go decide. Wait. Don't go decide. Wait. Don't go decide. Just wait. Don't go decide. Wait. Don't go decide.
We went to the Hall of Heroes, which is a superhero museum in the neighboring town. We were about to, we were walking out the door, just kind of like, hey, we'll just kind of make our way up. And this, we're going through some comic bins and stuff. And as we were going through comic bins, this dude walks in. The owner of the store or the museum is there, and he goes through his spiel. As this guy walks in, it's like, hey, how are you doing? And this guy's like, yeah, I'm doing okay. And he's like going, how many of you are here today? I'm just myself. Yeah, just me. And then the store owner or the museum owner goes, okay, well, that's $10. $10 for what? And it's like, this is a comic book and superhero museum. Oh, so you don't have anything about ancient aliens? And I'm like, we all kind of come to a stop, like, this is going to be good. It's like, you don't have anything on ancient aliens? Like, that seems odd. He's like, yeah, this is a museum, and we just deal with superheroes and comic books. Sorry, we don't have anything about ancient aliens. I came from the other side of town, and they asked if I had a plastic license plate, and it's just like this guy just got weirder and weirder and weird, and it's like, and then he leaves, and the museum owner looks at us and is like, wow, we get a lot of strange ones that come in here. It's like, a comic museum owner says that there's some weird people. That's got to be weird. It can't be just, you got to be exceptionally weird to make somebody who owns a comic book and superhero museum to say.
I was waiting for you to say, well, do you have one?
Yeah.
I'd want to see that.